Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week out there. It's really windy out there, and coming in here, I could literally feel it cutting through me. But my guest this week, Sara Santiago. Sara, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah, no, good to have you on. Let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I am from Buffalo, New York, originally, but I've been in New England since 2012. So just not city of Buffalo, about a mile and a half outside, north of Buffalo, in town of Tonawanda. So Erie County area, not by the Bills Stadium.
Okay.
No.
Because I've been there twice.
Yeah.
New Era Stadium, but I think it's getting a new name. Is that right?
Yeah, they're building a new one.
They're building a new one? Okay.
Yeah, the pit. Remember? Did you hear about the pit?
I have
the
not heard.
Conspiracy theory around the pit?
No, I have not.
When the Bills were on their winning streak right before the playoffs this last season, every day before a game happened, there's a new construction site across the street from the New Era Stadium right now. And somebody fell into the construction hole and had to go to the hospital. And then they won. And so someone the next week jumped in on purpose. And so the conspiracy theory is that people have to sacrifice themselves to the Bills pit so that we would win games. And ECMC, which is the local hospital there, confirmed that every game day they had an injury come in of someone throwing themselves into the pit.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it is, I've been there twice. It is a rowdy fan base, and we're going to talk about that too.
I know.
But yeah, I know going to Buffalo, the stadium is the big part of that city.
So that part of the city, we consider that the south towns of Buffalo. That's probably 30 to 40 minutes from where I grew up.
Okay.
South, below.
Oh, that's
on the other side.
That's quick to the stadium if you wanted to go to a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get all the snow down there, though. Not as much north of, we all get it. It's Buffalo, let's be honest, but not as much north of the city as that area does.
Now, how did you end up coming to New England? Just kind
of. I first transferred out here. I used to work for Geico. I was a customer service rep. That was my first job straight out of college. And I wanted to move to Boston. And I was like, okay, how do I stay with Geico but get to Boston? Because I wanted to transfer. And the only job that they had out here at that time was to be an auto damage appraiser. So I applied for the job. I had to go through several rounds of interviews, and I told them, I was like, I know nothing about cars, but I know a lot about customer service. And they're like, that's good because we can't teach you customer service, but we can teach you cars. So I got the job. I went through 2.5 months of training with Geico in different states, and then moved to Boston in early 2012, February 2012.
Oh, okay.
So it was out. Geico sent me here to begin with.
They do have great customer service. I have Geico.
They do.
I don't want to plug them or anything, but honestly, anytime I've needed them, it's been really good experience. Mm-hmm. I got to ask this then. So did you live right in Boston?
Yes, kind of. So the place that I was in the longest, I was in Medford. So I was right outside city, but I did have several apartments in Boston. One was Roslindale for a couple months, Allston for a couple months, Dorchester, East Boston was my most recent one.
Okay.
And then COVID started, and it was very crazy, as we all remember that. And at the time, I was a bartender, and everything shut down. All of my friends, we all lost our jobs. We're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I was living in East Boston in a 3-bedroom apartment with 4 girls and 1 bathroom. It was very small, and it's just a very condensed area, obviously. And I started getting real nervous because the streets were super quiet. I was like, there's going to be a run on the grocery store. There's only one Shaw's around the corner. I got to get out of here. And my cousin at the time was working for Snoo, living in an apartment in Hooksett, and she was like, why don't you just come up and stay with me for a couple weeks, help me with my kid till this all blows over. And so I moved all my stuff up there. I didn't have a lot. I just had a bedroom worth of stuff, and I ended up living with her for a year and a half. So I've been up here since March of 2020. I am one of those people from Boston who came up. But it's I like it a lot up here. I don't really miss the city that much. I like Boston. I'm very comfortable with it, but I'm okay up here now.
Yeah, see, I'm not a city person, right? At all. You have to drag me to a Red Sox game now.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
like you actually have to drag me because I get offered like free tickets. I'm like, I don't want to go to Boston. I really don't. And now Janet Jackson's coming to the Garden, and I'm
What are
like,
you gonna do?
I don't know. I'm all. But that's pretty fascinating. So you were like in the city
Yeah.
when all hell is breaking loose. That's got and in the industry you're in, like, so they just sending you home, or
Yeah. So I took a step back from bartending in November of 2019, but I had a bunch of part-times at the time. I was driving Uber. I was teaching bartending school down in downtown Crossing, and then I was also working at the front desk at one of my buddies. He owned a body shop, because I still knew how to do the car stuff. And just, it wasn't safe to drive Uber anymore. There was no bartender school because you're literally this close with people all the time. And yeah, so it was just nothing. And then of course there was like the run on unemployment. Like, it was crazy for a long time, and it was expensive to live there to begin with. So to be living there and all of a sudden not have reliable income, it's like, oh wow, what do I do?
yeah.
So it was honestly, like, not to be morbid, but the streets got so quiet that it reminded me of Boston when they were like searching for the marathon bomber.
Yeah.
And it was like quiet, and I was like, this is nuts. This is nuts. We got to get out of here. I started having some panic attacks. I called the doctor. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is how I'm feeling. But it was really intense in the beginning, coming from the restaurant industry, because everybody lost their jobs.
Yeah.
All of us. And a lot of the folks that I worked with at the time, were here on work visas. They didn't qualify for unemployment. And it's like, what do you do now? Like, how do we help these people? So I was trying to get involved to make sure, like, if someone needed food, like, there's a lot of restaurants that were like still making meals just for industry people, and making sure that they got to the people who needed food at that time in those first few months when we weren't sure what was going on yet.
That is just such a crazy, because like, being in New Hampshire when that happened, it was like, okay, like, I got to stay in my apartment or whatever. I could go walk around or whatever. I saw videos of like the cities, and I would get like, oh my gosh, that seems much worse.
It was like quiet, you mean? Like,
yeah,
the
like quiet,
empty
and
streets?
like everybody,
It's creepy.
and just like when you're in a city, right? Like you just think there's got to be more germs and more people like closer to you, and that's kind of crazy. Like,
it's crazy because it's been 4 years this month, and you think about it, it's like, wow, we went through some stuff 4 years ago. Yeah, here we are.
And it's kind of weird, like, cause it's like it was a slowly getting back to normal, like it really was, and then all of a sudden it was like, did that happen?
Are we doing this?
Like, this is weird.
I remember, like, the first time I was out and about, and I was like, there's people inside. There's a lot of us. None of us are wearing masks. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, are we supposed to do this yet? Can we do this? Yeah, I remember that. I remember the last big event I went to beforehand, too, because I remember thinking, like, we had already started hearing about it, but they hadn't shut anything down yet. It was, like, earlier in March, and I was at a bar event, and it was a cocktail competition, and there was hundreds of people. It was in the Royale Theater in downtown Boston, and I was like, I remember thinking to myself, like, there's a lot of people in here for the amount of germs that people are starting to get worried about. And that was like the precursor to a super spreader event or something.
What a wild time. That weekend I'd gone to D.C. before like things started getting shut down. And me and my brothers were driving to D.C. We're going to an XFL game, right?
Yeah.
And we're meeting my buddy Tim down there. And I remember we thought it was a joke. We were making, like, I kind of knew it was serious, but, we like to joke about serious stuff, maybe like to ease some anxiety.
Yeah.
And we went there, and as soon as we got to D.C., they're like, the first case is here. And I'm like, oh, whoa, the first case.
Yeah.
And then we're driving back, we're listening to the radio. I go, oh, man, this doesn't sound good. And then I'm seeing the videos in Italy going like, this really is not good.
No. But, Boston had the first, like, big event in the U.S. at the Biogen conference that was at Long Wharf. And one of my cousins actually knew people that worked for he used to work for Biogen. His coworkers were at the event, and then they all came back to the office, and he was like one of the very first people who had to quarantine for the first 2 weeks because he was in contact with Biogen people. And
oh gosh.
Yeah, so Boston had a big super spreader event right at the very beginning, like end of February.
What a while. We could probably
we could talk about that for a long time.
Because honestly, that's going to go down, and people aren't going to believe us in the next generation what that was like. But what are 3 things that everybody should know about you?
I'm very tall, 5'11". I'm a big reader and podcast listener.
Okay.
Like big time. I got like the top point, like, you know how they do the Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year?
Yeah.
And they're like, you listen to this many minutes of, blah, blah, blah. I was in the 0.2 top percent for this one podcast because I listened to it so much, and they have so many back episodes I was trying to get caught up on. Like, I don't binge watch things, I binge listen to things.
Okay.
Because I can do other stuff while I'm listening. And I guess number 3 is I'm a dog mom, which I know you're a new dog parent.
Yeah, it's a blast.
I told you beforehand, but I brought you a present.
I'm super excited about that.
I brought your dog a present.
It's funny like how obsessed you get with them. And I tried something with Wyndham yesterday because I wanted to see, he ran out of my brother's house the other day.
Like someone opened the door and he got out?
Yeah, and he got out, and I was in the middle of something. I sprinted, I said, Wyndham! He came right back. And
good.
I was like, okay.
That's good.
So we're doing a walk yesterday. I let go of the leash just to see what would happen. There was no one around. And I went, Wyndham! He ran. And he's freaking out that I let go of the leash.
Like he ran from you?
No, he ran to me. He's jumping. He jumped so high. I'm like, what are you doing? I was just testing. And he's like, don't ever do that again. You know?
Oh my gosh.
So I like that, so they don't have to.
Because he's so nervous, right?
I don't see a lot of nervousness when he sees another dog when we're walking. He's like timid.
Yeah. I thought he was nervous when you first got him.
He was.
Okay.
He was very. I'm nervous to go to WrestleMania because I have a great person that's going to watch him, but
good.
I think I'm going to have some separation anxiety myself.
We probably have more than they do sometimes. Yeah. I usually, I'll have to go home. I can't take my girl is reactive and also very afraid. It was very windy today. We are afraid of the wind. So, she won't go outside by herself unless I go with her. But when I go home and she stays here and I either have to board her or have someone watch her, usually by day 2 or day 3, I'm like, I miss my dog. I'm ready to go home now. I'm not having fun anymore, guys.
Yeah, no.
It gets worse. You're going to love it.
Even when I go to the Free Jacks game and I'm enjoying the game, but I'm also thinking about Wyndham. I'm like, I just want to get home. I wish I could bring him to the stadium.
What time? I clock it. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving the house. It's 1:33. I need to be back here by 5:33 at the very latest. That's 4 hours. Then she'll have to go outside. And I'm like, I gotta go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, dogs can stay inside longer than that, but I'm just like, no, that's too much.
It's hard,
because we love them.
Mm-hmm. What is the podcast that you do listen to that we gotta?
The biggest one that I listen to is Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard, okay.
Dax Shepard, yep. So they have over 800 episodes at this point, and they have they call it the Armchair Umbrella because they have different branch off series, I guess you could call it. I listen to all of the series. So he started it in 2016. I didn't start listening until 2022. I have 30 episodes left until I am caught up because they release at least, in the beginning it was 2 a week. Now they're up to 5 a week, and I'm listening to all of them.
That good?
I love it.
Dax Shepard, if you remember Punk'd.
Oh, yes.
That's the first how we were introduced to him.
That was reality TV. That was the beginning of reality TV. Yeah. He
so
talks
good
about that sometimes, and
he
has Ashton Kutcher was one of his first people. His wife is Kristen Bell. She was his first guest, but I sound like a super fangirl right now. Yeah. But it's interesting, and Mondays they have a celebrity, and then Thursdays they have an expert in any sort of field. And then now they also have a guy from New Zealand who got stranded here during COVID, so he does little documentary exposés once a week. He calls it Flightless Bird because Kiwis, New Zealand, they can't fly.
Oh, yeah. And
so he explores America and explores weird things about America, why are we so obsessed with barbecue, or what's up with Dr. Pepper, and he's the Tuesday guy.
Yeah.
And then he has a female co-host. She has a Wednesday show with another female friend, and then Fridays, my favorite. I think it's hilarious. He calls it Armchair Anonymous, and listeners, they give prompts, and listeners write in their story, and they pick people with the best stories. And these people call in. It's tell us about a time that you escaped living in a cult, or tell us about a time that, you had a near-death experience, or you saw something haunted, or I mean, this is a family-friendly show, but tell us about a time where you had like an accident at work, like something like that, where you couldn't make it to the bathroom. It's hilarious. So that is the primary one, but I listen to a lot of other ones too, like a lot.
I'll have to check it out. I mean, I've always liked Dax Shepard.
He's pretty good.
Now, sticking with the theme of the show, this is the money question we ask everybody. It means different things to different people. Everybody kind of has a different answer on it. What does it mean to you to be an American?
To me, I think being an American is just, to be American is like to be part of your community, to help your neighbor, to, get involved. You're walking down the street and you see that someone's trash has blown over and you just pick it up and put it back in front of their house for them because you also live there too. I'm very fortunate where I live right now in Dover because I don't have any family here besides my cousin. And the only friends that I have just started as roommates. And my neighbors around me, though, they all came over to introduce themselves. They're all older. They're in their 60s or whatever. They're all wicked nice. They've invited us over for parties. We've had them over, and we look out for each other and, make sure that everyone's okay. And back home in Buffalo, same thing. Buffalo is one like friendliest city from USATA in sometime in the 2000s. I don't remember when it was, but Buffalo is big on helping each other out. Like, hey, I'm going out of town for a week. Can you keep an eye on the house for me? Like, hey, I shoveled your front walk for you, or, whatever it is. Your kids came home, or this thing was going on over there. Just want to make sure you're okay. Bring you something. We had like block parties. I don't know if you ever.
Oh yeah. We've had block parties.
Yeah. Or like the moms, like someone would make a cooler of mom jungle juice and like go from house to house, like dragging it behind her and just have little chit chats like in the summer. I don't know, but that to me is that community, because it's all just a bunch of little communities of people hopefully helping each other out, looking out for each other, even if it's just your apartment building. Doesn't have to be some giant neighborhood, but just, yeah.
No, good answer.
Thank you.
I like
I was thinking about that one for a little bit. It's like, what does it mean to be an American to me?
I had to say that people were very friendly in Buffalo when I was there, except if you talked about Tom Brady.
Yes. Yeah, you don't do that.
That did rub people the wrong way.
I've been here. I was at a Stop and Shop in Somerville getting deli meat, and I had my Bills hoodie on, and I walked up to the counter, and the guy's like, I can't serve you. I was like, you're joking me, right? He's like, nah. And I was like, okay. And so someone else came over and helped me, and I was like, are you kidding me right now? I mean, it's a well-known rivalry. It is what it is. It's also just a game, but it is fun.
I got a lot of crap on social media when I went. My buddy Jesse's a diehard fan.
Buffalo or Pat?
Buffalo.
Okay.
Buffalo fan his whole life. We started saying stuff to each other on Facebook, trolling each other one day, and I said, no, I really do want to meet the Bills Mafia. He goes, well, I really want to go to a game. I go, I think we should do this, and then we made a trip.
Yeah.
And I bought a shirt for the guy, I talked him to, he was trying to sell it for like 20. I got him down to 10. I was like, this is a souvenir. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd buy anything Yankees ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy anything. I'm a Red Sox person, so.
But I always looked at like Buffalo. I'm not trying to.
I wouldn't put that shirt that you have on. I would never wear that. No offense.
Well, my thing is like it's a one-sided rivalry. You know what I mean? I never looked at the Bills as like, no offense,
it's okay.
For a long time.
No, I'm listening.
For a long time, I never really looked at the Bills as like our equal.
I know, because we weren't a competitor for a long time.
So when I had that shirt on, I didn't think it was going to be this big deal. Like, because I wore it for a day, supported Jesse, and the comments I got on social media, like I betrayed the Patriots, and I was like, wait a second.
You personally betrayed Tom Brady.
Steelers, Colts, Ravens, like I had a list of teams that I would never touch. I didn't think it was that big a deal, because I don't actually hate the Bills, like a little more now because now they're better, but I don't like hate them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, because you didn't get your butts kicked by them for 20 years during your formative years.
No. And that's why, like, when I was at the tailgate, walked up to a guy wearing a Celtics jersey, thinking like he was, because I was like deep undercover. They weren't playing the Patriots, so I wasn't wearing any like Patriots gear.
That's hilarious.
And we started going, me and my buddy Kyle went up to this guy and we said, oh, hey, you're a New England guy too? He goes, no.
Yeah, Buffalo doesn't have a basketball team, so you can do whoever you want there.
So then the next thing you know, we're circled up by a bunch of guys who are like, Brady's not the GOAT.
What year was this?
2016. Colin Kaepernick was playing for the 49ers that game. You had some anti-Colin Kaepernick people there, but you also had people that like Colin Kaepernick there. And anyways, all of a sudden they're circling us up, and I was like, all right, guys, I'm not gonna fight you over this. You can say whoever you want is the best.
Were you in the Bills Mafia lot?
We must have been, because I went through a table.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I haven't even gone through a table.
My buddy Texas put me through a table. Then this one Bills fan who was drunk out of his mind said I didn't break it all the way. He put me a lot bigger than me and put me back through it. Everybody thought we were gonna fight. The guy's like, I don't know why I did that. I go, sometimes you got to break the table. And that was like,
that should have gotten you like in at least for the day.
Oh, we were in. We bought tickets for those people sold us tickets for $20.
That's not what I meant. I mean, like in with the crowd.
Oh yeah.
You're like, yeah, we went to the game.
Oh, I know
people who go to the tailgate and they don't have tickets to the game. They're not planning on going inside.
No,
they're just there to tailgate. It's a party. The tailgate itself, like when we have a 1:00 game, you leave your house 6:30, 7 a.m. You got all your stuff ready. You're picking up breakfast, not from Dunk's, but from Tim Hortons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of Canadians there.
A lot of Canadians.
Yeah.
Actually, so I went to the most recent, the Bills-Pats game down at Gillette, and we were parked next to people from Canada that came down. They were Bills fans, but they were from like way up in Canada, and they came down for the game. But like when you tailgate in Buffalo, you have all 3 meals planned for the day, because you're going to be there for breakfast. You got to eat something before you get inside because the food's so expensive, and you might have had a couple of drinks. So you should probably eat something. And then by the time you get back out, the traffic's so bad to go home that you sit it out and you have dinner there waiting, and it's a full day event. Like, it's really a thing. Is. And people do it every weekend.
They do. And people in New England, like Patriots fans, do that too. And I'm just like, I can't live that lifestyle. Like,
it's a commitment.
I could do it once in a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all about the second tailgate, because obviously you're in traffic.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was we went 2 times. It was a cool experience.
It's definitely it's a much different experience going in Buffalo versus going in New England to Gillette. I think Gillette's a nicer stadium. I'm not gonna lie. That's why we're building a new one. Yeah. But like the whole experience in my eyes is different.
Bills have a better like tailgating near the stadium situation, I would say, than in New England. But man, yeah, those Canadians that come, they're like the most polite people ever. We started playing cornhole with one of them, and they beat us. And then after, like, I'm sorry.
It was a good game there, Go Bills.
It was a good game. I said, all right. I mean, yeah, I was teasing people too, because on my phone at the time I had the Patriots logo on it, so I kept pulling that out of my phone and like showing people.
That's
in the
a good way to get your butt kicked at a Bills
I
game.
did meet a girl that I was sitting next to in the stadium that knew Gronk. She went to high school with him.
Yeah, the Gronkowski boys are from Buffalo.
Yeah.
And when like Gronk started becoming a thing and he was on TV and he's like, look at Gronk taking his shirt off and partying. Then I found out he was from Buffalo. I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense, because that is a very specific party bro from Buffalo.
Yeah.
Not uncommon there.
That's crazy too that he's from there, and then it's like he plays in the same division for New England.
Well, there's 4 of them, aren't there? 4 brothers.
Yeah, I don't think any of the other ones made it though.
Yeah, but they all played football for the school district that they were in. I think they're all big boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how he got to the Patriots in that draft and people were I guess he had like an injury. The fact that people passed on Rob Gronkowski, you got to be thinking, it's the same thing as like, why didn't the Bears take Mahomes? Like you got to be thinking about that forever.
Yeah.
You know.
It's always what if.
Yeah. That's why the draft is, you never know. Now, we promoted the show. I got to ask this. So what exactly, you said former international cocktail competition champion. Tell me a little bit about that.
So back when I was bartending, I was a cocktail bartender. So I was like the fancy kind.
Okay, that's what that means.
The fancy kind.
Yeah.
Like you would go into the speakeasy with the guy with the mustache and all the tattoos, and he's like shaking a drink and twirling at the same time. He's like, I'll be right with you, bro. Like that was me, but without the mustache. So I got picked to participate as an intern for this cocktail conference in Boston. It was after I had lived in Boston. I went back to Buffalo for a couple of years, but I got picked to come back to work this conference. And this team of people from across the country who were all amazing bartenders, one was Canadian, we were sponsored by Patron. And they gave us a bunch of swag, they paid for our meals. It was awesome, right? And then there is a cocktail competition out there. It's called the International, The International Karaoke Cocktail Competition.
Okay, karaoke.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
now speaking my language.
Yeah. So Patron was like, you guys did great at this conference. We want to bring you down to the distillery in Mexico, along with some other folks. They were doing like a big showing or something. And so we went down to Jalisco and to where their distillery is, which was absolutely gorgeous. And they have like a on-site hotel kind of thing for guests, of like VIP guests. And we stayed in their hotel, which was the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in. And while we were there, it was the International Cocktail Karaoke Competition. I can't remember if a karaoke or cocktail comes first in that acronym. Yeah. But you form a team and you pick a song that you're going to sing and you make a cocktail that goes with the song and also has to use Patron tequila. And so me and the other girls that had done that conference together, we were the Spice Girls. I was Scary Spice. I had my space buns, and we picked a song, we choreographed it, and we used my drink recipe, and I had like this thing in it that made it change colors when citrus hit one of the liquids, so it went from like pink to purple. It was very fancy. And so while 4 of us are up front singing karaoke, choreographed dancing, dressed like the Spice Girls, there's a 5th girl in the back dressed as Sporty Spice, not singing, but making the drink. And then you finish it up and they send it to the judges and they judge you. And so, you go through like 10 or 12 groups of people and then they announce winners and we won. And so I now say that I'm an international cocktail competition winner because I won. It was my first cocktail competition. It just happened to be in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you win based on how good the drink was or like the performance or everything?
They grade you on all of it. So
okay.
How was your karaoke? How was your cocktail? How was your presentation of your cocktail? How was your presentation on stage? The boys that did the conference with us, they all wore Nacho Libre masks and had fake guitars, and their song was Tequila. So there was just boys up on stage dancing, and then they go, Tequila! And then like someone's in the background making a drink. Okay. Yeah. So it was really cool. There was another duo that they did the song from Alicia Keys, this Girls on Fire, and they like lit their drink on fire. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. We got like trophies.
Oh, wow.
Like giant trophies that did not fit in my luggage to get it home. So I had to like carry it through the airport. It's fun though. It's a lot of fun. I've been to that specific competition a couple of times and it's silly, but it also gives you a chance to be creative in that world.
That could be a TV show, honestly. People would watch that.
I mean, bartending world in general could be a TV show.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy sometimes.
Do you watch Bar Rescue at all? Just that was fun.
No, but I know somebody. Now I can't remember who it was. I know somebody who was on it. Their place got on Bar Rescue. And then he opened a different place in a different city.
Did Taffer rip them out? Because I always find he's like Ramsey a little bit, but obviously different.
He's the
world.
Ramsey of the bar world. Yeah.
I always found that, but yeah, karaoke and that'd be a good TV show.
We did great choreography.
What was the Spice Girls song? Is it just
Colors of the World, Spice Up Your Life?
Oh, okay. Okay, I like that.
I can't remember the name of the song.
Spice Up Your Life, Spice World, something. It was from the movie. Did they do a movie? They did a movie, right?
Yeah,
Spice
World.
Yeah. The 90s are like 97 is like, it's been a little while, but I do love the Spice Girls. Anytime they come on
the TV
or Spotify or there was just a picture like cuz I'm on like all the TLC fan pages.
Like the home show?
No.
TLC.
TLC.
I thought you meant the Learning Channel or whatever it was.
Left Eye.
Okay.
There was a cool picture going around. I think it was on the Left Eye tribute page of like her and Sporty Spice. And I was like, oh, that's a cool picture. I never knew that this existed.
Yeah, 90s were a wild place.
It was a good time to be alive. It was a good time to be alive. And our coworker Greg said the other day that and I wonder this. He said, I never thought I'd be that guy to say music was better, but music was better there. And I start to wonder, I'm like, do we feel that way? Because like you think about like your development, obviously we're full grown adults now, but when you're a kid, like your brain's still developing, right? So like is that music better? Because I feel like it is. Or is that just how that's how my brain works from hearing it so much when I was younger?
I heard somewhere, and like don't quote me on this, but I heard somewhere that like the music that you listen to in like late high school is what you think is going to be the best music for the rest of your life, because that is such a formative time in your lifespan of development, like those first 25 years of developing. So for me, that was, I don't know, the early 2000s. So yeah, I'm like listening to songs from 2004 that are now 20 years old. I'm like, yo, it's a banger.
This is great. Yeah.
It's a banger. Yeah, so I think that that's just automatic, like how our parents are like, yo, 70s had the best music, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, the music now, I also think part of it is, social media, the internet, the way that people can collaborate with each other, that maybe we're starting to run out of however many combinations of notes and chords you can have.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
There's still different types of music coming out, but I think people are now like almost reverting backwards. So like country music, there's like pop country, and then they call it Texas country, but like Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, I think his name is, like just really scaling it back towards country, getting away from Luke Combs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not Luke Combs. Who's that? Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan. Oh,
Luke Bryan.
he's starting to get phased out.
Well, I think that style of, like, there's just two different styles. It's like there's the top 40 country.
Yeah.
And then there's like maybe some bluegrass or some, religious country. And then there's like this like back road, real chill in the woods, hanging out with your buddies, like just a guy and a guitar kind of country. And I think that is getting real big.
No, that makes sense.
I don't know if you're a country guy.
No, I do. I see. The thing is, like, I listen to country on the radio, so half the time I don't know who sings what. But that's also a fact about a lot of things I hear on the radio that I'm like, oh, who sang that? Oh, that was Justin Bieber? I didn't know that. I guess I know a Justin Bieber song. Or like,
yeah.
There is a song, though, out right now, and her name is like, it's a weird name, Mooney something. You heard the song, Nobody Knows Me Like You Do, Nobody. Anyways.
It's a country song?
No, it's an R&B song.
Okay,
Sorry,
no,
I didn't establish that. I heard this song on the radio. I was like, whoa, what is this?
Like in a good way?
In a good way.
Yeah,
I was like, is this new? Like, did I miss this in like the 90s? This is like 90s R&B.
Ooh.
So, I got home and I found the song and it's new and they're like, she's bringing it back. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest song ever. Like, I haven't heard any. I love R&B. Mm-hmm. I think everybody knows that.
I figured that out.
And I heard that song and was like, I need more of this. But I haven't found another one of her songs that I actually, I know she's written a lot of songs. That one, though, just like.
It's her radio hit. It's
pure fire.
Yeah.
It's pure fire.
Okay.
If you haven't heard it.
You'll have to send it to me. I'll listen to it. I try to listen to everything. Like, I'm not just like country, but like my radio stations in my car, because I have XM in my car, it's like top 40, 90s and 2000s, Spanish music, country music, hip hop, some comedy stations, EDM, No Shoes Radio with Kane Chesney.
Like Sirius Radio?
Sirius XM,
XM,
yeah.
Okay.
So
I've had that before. I don't have it right now, but
I don't mind it. I don't listen to the actual radio anymore. I can't stand commercials.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm also one of those people who likes to constantly change.
You're a scanner?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's a real problem.
That's why I listen to the podcast so much.
Yeah.
I just hook up to Spotify.
I get to ask this, though. What would you say the major differences between living in Buffalo and living in New England? You could even say specifically New Hampshire if you wanted to, but.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is just like the weather is a lot different. And I know that sounds really maybe like boring, but in Buffalo it gets hot in the summer, right? And here it gets swampy. Like I still have yet to adjust to it. The humidity here, it kills me. Buffalo is usually 10 degrees colder in the winter than it is here, but that's also like I'm on the seacoast. But I think that's probably the biggest thing. In terms of like the people, I think, as I'm sure you've noticed, like just New England can be a little standoffish at first, and you got to get to know somebody before they're like, I fixed your dryer for you or something like that. And, don't worry about it. Yeah, like, leave me alone. But I took care of it. And then Buffalo people are just like immediately helping you. I think that that's changing in the world in general these days, but I think that that's the biggest thing. I remember when I was in Boston for a few years, and then I ended up having to move home to Buffalo for like 2.5 years before I came back again. And I was going for a job interview, and my mom said to me, she was like, okay, I'm going to need you to take off your Boston face and put on your Buffalo smile. And I was like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then I was going to the job interview, I was waiting at the corner, and it had started to rain, and this lady comes up to me, she's like, hi. And I was like, hi. And I wasn't used to people talking to me on the street because I had been in Boston for so long, and it's just a city. You're just walking. But like people over there are like, how you doing? Great day. Like nodding to each other, waving. I see that more now where I am in the town that I'm in, Dover. I see some of that a little bit more now, but you don't see that a lot in bigger cities. So that took some adjustment too.
I do think, like, and everybody knows kind of how I feel about Massachusetts. No diss to Massachusetts, but I prefer New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would never live in Massachusetts. I do think there is a little bit a difference between the two states.
I mean, and there's a difference between Mass and Connecticut and Mass and Rhode Island or Vermont and New Hampshire. Like, it's all just different. Depends on where you live. I think just in my own experience, like most of my, I really don't know if I can really say that anymore. Half of my time in New England was spent down in Boston, and almost now half of my time has been up here in New Hampshire. And then being back in Buffalo for most of my life, which is right on the Canadian border, so you get a lot of those influences. So definitely just, not that people are not friendly. I think here in the New England area, it takes people a minute to get to that point. They're not going to be like that straight off the bat, as opposed to like Buffalo. They're like, hi, how are you? Like immediately.
Yeah, I'm a New Hampshire, like, definitely maybe a New Hampshire elitist at times, where I'm just like, I just could never, I don't think I could.
Are you from here, New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing, and that's probably what part of it is that I'm just, when sometimes I said, I'm just really proud to be from New Hampshire. Like, I love this place.
I mean, I feel like that's everybody. Like, if you never, no offense with the statement, but like if you live one place for your whole life, you're like, we are the best. We're the best people. This is the best area. This is the best place to be. And like that, like, sure, but that may not always be true. And when you go around, you live in different places and you just kind of see how people interact differently with each other, or just dynamics in neighborhoods and environments. Like, New Hampshire is very rural compared to where I grew up. I grew up like classic suburbs, picket fences, double car driveway. Everyone's got a basketball hoop out there, and then obviously Boston is wicked urban. So I think it just kind of depends, but yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think, whatever people believe to themselves, like, I don't know if New Hampshire is the best place to live. I have no idea. I just know I like it, and that's exactly all there is to it.
As long as it works for you.
And then because I hear people like, oh, that's so boring here. I'm like, you're living it wrong. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, yeah, you can't be up here and not be an outdoors person. Yeah. I don't think so. Unless you live, no, you can't. No, you can't do that. Like, if I didn't love going to the beach, or I don't ski, so that's like a big activity that most people do.
I did it once.
But now having a dog and going out into the woods and hiking a little bit, like, that is a big difference. You gotta embrace a little bit of the nature. That took me a little bit to learn when I first got here. It's like, there's so many bugs. It took a hot second.
I do not like the bugs. I agree. I want to get to the fan questions too here.
Oh, boy.
Joey Kilmartin, former guest of the show fairly recently. Do you see the Bills winning the Super Bowl in the next 5 years?
I saw that question on Facebook or Instagram, and my only answer is, God, I hope so. Josh Allen is heaven sent for us as fans. Like, it's just such a big deal. And how far we've gotten. The thing with, I try and keep in mind as a Bills fan, and maybe a little bit as part of life lessons, is don't get excited before the fourth quarter. Like, don't talk. And I'm like, don't talk to me about the fourth quarter if we're still in the first half. Like, we're not there yet. Don't even talk to me until we're in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, because the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter is where the Bills really become the Bills sometimes. And so you just can't get your hopes up. You want to, but you also, like, you can't get too upset if it doesn't happen. So I'm hopeful. I think we have I know that there's all the trading and stuff happening right now. I think that the leadership team is good. I think we have a strong roster. I think that our fan base is always been, but very much so. Maybe it's just because I'm older and I pay attention to it, but they're super loyal. Yeah. And like, they will travel anywhere to watch the team. Like, when they go to Florida and play Jacksonville, and Jacksonville ran out of beer and folding tables, like, they were carting it in from other cities because they couldn't keep up with it. Or like, if you're in Miami and I guess in Miami, people saw so many Bills fans. Like, you can be on the street and start singing the Bills song, and like the rest of the street sings it to you. You're not in Buffalo. You just happen to have all those fans there. So I think that helps us too. But again, one can only hope.
No, I think that fan base definitely deserves a championship, hopefully, at some point, you know. It's just tough. It's like the Bills got good, but then the Chiefs, that juggernaut of the Chiefs has come around now. It's like it went from the Patriots dynasty, a couple teams in there, to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. Hey, I don't like it either. Sara is the best from Tess Hartwell.
Tess, I used to do events with Tess. She hired me to help her be an assistant event producer for WGBH down in Boston. They do a food and wine festival one weekend a year, and so I used to help her with that, like all weekends, making sure all the chefs and the not celebrities, but like speakers, like everything where it needs to be, volunteers, the flatware, all of that. So Tess is awesome.
Nice,
Hi, Tess.
Nice. Thank you, Tess. Top fives.
Oh boy.
Rapid
fire?
Yeah, we'll go through them pretty quick because
Okay.
we're getting a little shorter on time. But top 5 places to go while in Buffalo. Somewhere to visit there.
While in Buffalo, if anyone from Buffalo is watching this, I don't know all the new places, okay? I know there's a lot of new places. While in Buffalo, top places to go, I would go check out Canal Side. I would go to Hurdle and check out some of the places over there. I like Hurdle as part of North Buffalo. Maybe take a walk around Delaware Park. I mean, Niagara Falls is not Buffalo. That's what most people go there to do. One of the world's natural wonders is right there, so you probably should go see that.
Yeah.
But bring your passport and check out the Canadian side, because I think it's a little bit nicer and there's more to do, especially with kids. And then you got to get wings. And my favorite place to get wings of the chains is to go to a Duff's. But I secretly like, there's this place in Kenmore, which is right up north of Buffalo. It's called Curry's. And they're just, little bar, little mom and pop, like local bar, but they make really good wings. I get them medium, extra crispy, grilled.
Okay.
They finish them on the grill. So crispy, so juicy, so good. Only blue cheese, no ranch. And it's almost like a dry rub. They're not saucy at all. They're so good. Like when I go home, that's where I want to get my wings from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice.
So Curry's on Kenmore Avenue in Kenmore.
I like the dry rubs too. I really don't like
Two saucies. I'm like, this is messy.
I just want to eat food without getting all over me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm interested in this here, because we kind of talked about music a little bit, but do you have a top 5 musical artists?
This is rough. This is a hard one.
Or your best to get it down to 5 if
All
there's
right.
more.
I mean, for right now, because it changes, obviously. Yeah, Zach Bryan, Chris Stapleton. One band that I've seen a lot of times, I don't think they'll ever get old for me, is Bayside. It's like an emo band.
Okay. Bayside is in like because of Saved by the Bell, or?
No.
Okay.
Bayside, like they're from Long Island.
Okay.
I don't know where they got the name from, but emo band that I've seen like 11 or 12 times. Who else am I listening to lately? Honestly, this is going to sound really nerdy, but I've been listening to a lot of like lo-fi or jazz, like things without lyrics, because I listen to it while I'm working, or I'm in school, so I listen to it while I'm doing homework. I'll always have a thing for Paramore.
Okay.
And top 5 artists, honorable mention, my little sister, Santiago, Leah with an H. She has a couple of singles on Spotify that I really like. She's got a new one dropping soon, so it's biased, but top 5.
All right, check that out. Okay, here's another good one that I like to ask everybody. Top 5 movies.
So here's the thing. I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Okay.
I was just staring at your notes.
Yeah.
Can I do top 5 podcasts? Because I literally
Absolutely.
don't want. Like people are like, have you ever seen this?
Do you have a
like,
favorite movie before you give that?
Of all the movies, I have 2 favorite movies, but the top is probably P.S. I Love You with Hilary Swank and Gerard Butler.
Yeah. Okay.
And then second would probably be Elizabethtown. It was Kirsten Dunst and Orlando Bloom. It was like a really indie kind of film. Great soundtrack.
Okay.
A little weird, but
all right.
I could do top 5 podcasts.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, so Armchair Expert, obviously number 1. One I've been listening to a lot. I've been binge listening. It's called We're Here to Help. It's Jake Johnson, who played Nick Miller on New Girl.
Okay.
and then
Oh,
a stand-up comedian, Gareth Reynolds, and they take people email with issues and they give them awful advice, and they're not like real issues, like
Yeah.
bad stuff, but like one is like the lady called in and she said, I play D&D with my friends, and the character I picked for myself, I'm trying to do an accent, and I don't think my accent's good enough, and people don't like my character as much as they like this other girl's character, and can you help me work on my accent? And then they just like spitball it with people. So I've been listening to that. I think it's hilarious. I listen to Smartless, and that's hosted Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, Sean Hayes. They do mostly celebrities on that, so like celebrity talk.
Did Jason Bateman get angry on one of these, and like everybody was like kind of ripping him for that? Did you hear about this?
It's Jason. He always has some weird anger coming out. It's not real anger, I don't think. I think it's just him being crotchety.
Okay.
I don't know him. Not that I know of, off the top of my head.
Okay.
I also like to listen to audio drama, like fiction podcasts. So it's like in the old days when they were like, here's War of the Worlds on the radio, kids. And they would have the sound effects, but they have it now with like surround sound HD. To the point where like in the beginning of the podcast, they'll say to you like, please be aware of your surroundings as the sounds may come from you from all sides, and it's best to listen with headphones. So one that I really liked is a zombie podcast, and it's called We're Alive, and they also have like over 100 episodes. They're all like 30 to 50 minutes long, and it's like listening to a movie, like just all the noises, like you feels like a truck's driving by you on one side of your headphones, like character development, all different actors doing it. So I liked that a lot. And then last favorite podcast, Trevor Noah has a new one. I don't know if it's my favorite. I don't know. My last one. They're just like a lot of ties right there. Lex Friedman podcast is pretty good. I don't know if you know Lex Friedman. He was like an AI professor from MIT or something. He interviews a lot of tech people. So I actually listened. He had a 6-hour podcast with a guy who was an FBI informant who used to commit mortgage fraud.
Oh, geez.
6 hours. It took me 2 days to listen to it. But the guy could tell a story. Like I was like, no wonder you were a con artist. Like you're just spinning a tale here. So that was a good one.
So Noah, like the other one there, the Daily Show guy?
Yeah. So he retired from the Daily Show.
Done. Okay.
And took a break for a while, and then he started a podcast, and like his first guest was Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Rock, huh? Yeah, he's really. We all know how I feel about The Rock right now, so.
Oh, I don't know. Should we talk about it off camera?
No, it's WrestleMania season.
Oh, okay.
And I just have to say, if The Rock, if you want to cut a promo, you got to trim these down. He's putting these things out on like Twitter or whatever, and they're like, I'm not listening to a wrestling promo for 20 minutes. Like, no chance that I'm going to do that. So
he likes the camera. He's very good. He's like, hey guys.
He does. Like, and he's gone full heel Rock, which is the best version of him. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into that anyways. But I want to get into buy or sell. I'm going to give you a topic, and you're just going to tell me, are you buying or are you selling? Buying, you're saying this is good, I want to keep it. Selling, you're like, no.
Oof, I see the first one on that list.
Yeah, we got to ask this here. And we know that we have, Kat loves it, but TikTok.
Yeah. Jesus. That,
We ask this one a lot.
Can I do buy with a caveat?
Okay.
Buy with some
Your answer is your answer, yeah.
Buy with some regulations. I think it definitely has a good space in the world because there is a lot of good information on there. They have like a whole STEM channel that you can navigate to. So if kids want to watch science things, I think that, it'll come down to parental decisions, but I think there should be a little bit more control about what's allowed on there. I know it's like, do we get rid of it? Does somebody in the U.S. buy it and we can control the algorithm? There's a lot to it. I don't think that we will be able to just cut it off because there's so many people who rely on that for their living at this point. So that's like millions of people now suddenly unemployed because you got rid of a social media site.
Yeah, that's that. I was surprised I heard that. I know it had been talked about even when Trump was president, was banning it. But honestly, I'm a millennial. I'm an older millennial. I get my TikTok videos on Instagram months later.
Yes.
Crocs.
Buy.
Okay.
Yep. And hard stop.
That's it.
Buy. Yeah.
I gotta ask this, because you had mentioned that you had a shirt of hers. Did you see the new Selena documentary with the woman that killed her? I'm
No.
blanking on
She
her
got
name.
out of jail recently. I know that.
She did?
I think so.
No. She's trying.
I'm sure she
She's
is.
trying. At the end of the day.
Catch you outside in these streets,
And
girl.
why am I blanking on her name? At the end of the day, you shot and killed her. What do you like?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the reasons were.
I have not seen the new one.
But buy or sell Selena music.
Bye.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just.
All right.
Yeah. I was gonna give you one to give you another one because it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Buy or sell Janet Jackson.
Bye.
Okay.
Is it going to be full price buy? Is it
Well,
half off? Do I get a BOGO?
It's the goat of R&B. So.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Bye.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
To each their own, man.
Got to ask. Well, you mentioned this more than I realized. 'Cause I was gonna ask. Country music.
Bye.
Because.
I mean, it's extremely American.
Okay.
I think so. I think, with everything, there's factions of it that it's like, this is troublesome. But I think it tells a story a lot of times. It's got a nice little melody or a little beat going to it. For a lot of the times it's kid friendly.
Yeah.
You can listen to it with them in the car. And I just have a lot of good memories. Grew up listening to Garth and Reba and that kind of stuff.
Good summer music a lot of times.
Yeah.
I know it's
outside
kind of.
grilling.
I get ripped on a lot because I just like pop country.
That's
People
fine.
give me a hard time.
I mean,
about
it is
that.
what it is. It's playing on the radio in the garage while you're doing work outside.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm not a big hockey guy, but I got to ask you this: Buffalo Sabres.
I haven't really been paying attention because, I don't know, I'm sure they could sell off half of it. We'll just
Yeah.
sell the bad stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will watch the Bruins in the playoffs, but I can't say that I'm a hockey person.
I used to
just
watch them
can't.
more, but it's really hard when both of your sports teams are breaking your heart in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you have to pick one, and I picked the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems fair. Patriots fans.
Which kind?
You
The loud, obnoxious kind? Or the kind that are just like, yeah, we're Pats fans.
You got to put the whole fan base into one package. So.
You know what? Bye. You want to know why? Because to each their own. Because this is America, baby. I don't like it, but that's okay. You can like it. Just don't shove it down my throat.
There are some Patriot fans that even now that I like. This must happen in every fan base. That there's fans in your fan base that you can't.
And that's a
can't
lot.
stand.
You need to relax. Yeah, I know people like that. I mean, I dated a guy once, and he had a picture of Tom Brady over his dining room table, but in a Jesus pose. It was like a picture of Jesus, but it was Tom Brady, and I was like,
I know it's
does this need to be here?
Yeah.
And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that picture.
I'm sure.
I get it.
Yeah.
I can't listen to sports talk radio. I listen to it more now that they're bad because I couldn't listen to it when they were good because I was like, what do you guys have to talk? Stop it.
Yeah, you're just rubbing it in.
Fan bases would die for this, and now I'm just jumping in the negativity.
What are you gonna do? Come on and be like, yo, did you see Tom this weekend? Yeah, I did. All right, great show. Thanks, guys.
They won again. Well, they could have won by this margin. Now it's
yeah.
What is Belichick doing? I don't understand this anymore.
Wait, did Belichick leave? Yeah, he did.
Mutual.
What's his guy's name? The new guy.
Gerard Mayo.
It is?
Former player, yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't been coaching that long. I don't know how this is going to play out. I do think that a lot of people are starting to be like, was it Belichick that didn't want to spend, or was it Robert Kraft? I don't know. The 90s.
Bye. What a question.
Good
Just
time to
all
go.
of the 90s.
Were you a fan of TGIF?
Oh, of course. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
oh, my God. Loved it.
Kids today will never understand how great Friday nights were.
Boy Meets World. Who else was on TV?
Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step.
Was that TGIF, though, at nighttime? Or was that after school?
So Full House was on
Full
TGIF.
House, Step by Step, Family Matters, after school, Fresh Prince, after school. 2 to 3 hours of TV, solid before my mom got home because latchkey, whatever.
You might have had syndication stuff, too.
Oh, maybe.
But TGIF was, Full House got moved out of there.
Didn't Sinbad have a TGIF or something like that?
Not that I recall.
I don't remember.
We actually went out through the lives. We do the Ring and Free Thoughts, the live stream with Scott McVicker on Fridays. We went through all of the existence of TGIF, and there were shows that I did not remember. I can't even remember their name now.
Cool. Good.
And so if it didn't work, they were booted pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
But I know Full House started there, and then, Thursday night's another big night of TV that you got to have a good lineup.
I remember as I got older, when it was like Smallville, Gilmore Girls.
CW.
CW.
Okay.
Yeah, I went from TGIF to CW.
See, I was never a CW guy. I never really watched those shows.
No.
But, the evolution of TGIF, where they started putting in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that's where I probably...
That was in TGIF?
It was on Friday nights. That's where I started to exit.
That's when you started TGIF? Or that's when
No,
you
that's when
left
I
it?
left.
Okay.
After Boy Meets World. Probably,
Once CW started, I left TGIF. I was like, I'm too cool for this now.
I think so. I probably left in 2000. Whatever the last year of Boy Meets World is probably the last time I watched it.
They're doing a doc of that.
On TGIF?
Boy Meets World.
Oh, Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
A couple of the two of the actors that do the podcast are in a little bit of hot water right now.
Oh, really?
Over this whole Nickelodeon thing they had wrote a recommendation.
Behind the scenes. I didn't watch that, but I've heard a lot about it.
Very bad era of Nickelodeon, what I'm seeing. That's not really my era. All that was. But the shows that are, I was too old for Drake and Josh or iCarly. But not good. That guy Dan Schneider is a scumbag.
I've heard a lot.
All right, last one here. Most important one.
I see it. I know. I'm reading. Your handwriting is awful, but I can tell.
Takes away the surprise.
I know. I'm excited. Go ahead, ask me. Big bye. Big bye, Josh Allen. You know what? I know he's got a good arm. He's got a good attitude. He's done some really great stuff around the city. There's a wing at the Children's Hospital now that's named after his grandmother who passed away. He brings good vibes. I feel like he's all-American boy that is just positivity.
He really has turned around. I mean, because I think your quarterback is such a big piece. Mm-hmm. He's kind of turned around the franchise.
Yes.
Yeah. But Sarah, this has been a blast.
Thanks for having me.
You coming on. Everybody out there, have a great weekend, a great week. Go Free Jacks this weekend. They'll be playing in Chicago. Big win this past weekend. So everybody out there, keep your heads up and continue to let freedom ring.